A bird nest is where a bird lays its eggs, incubates them, and raises its young, although the phrase is commonly used to describe a building built by the bird itself, such as the grassy cut nest of the American robin or Eurasian blackbird, or the intricately woven hanging nest of the Montezuma or Apendula or village weaver. This is a too narrow description. The knothole left by a broken limb, a burrow dug into the ground, a chamber drilled into a tree, a large rotting pile of vegetation and dirt, a shelf constructed of dried saliva, or a mud dome with an access tunnel are all examples of nests. The tiniest bird nests are those of hummingbirds, which are tiny cups measuring 2 centimeters, 0.8 in across and 2-3 centimeters, 0.8 to 1.2 in tall. At the other end of the scale, some dusky scrubfowl nest mounds are more than 11 meters, 36 feet in circumference and nearly 5 meters, 16 feet tall. Caleology is the scientific study of bird nests. Nests are not built by all bird species. Some species deposit their eggs directly on the ground or rocky ledges, whereas brood parasites lay their eggs in the nests of other birds, relying on unwary foster parents to rear the young. Although nests are generally used for breeding, they may also be reused for roosting during the non-breeding season, and some species construct separate dormitory nests or roost nests, or winter nests, that are only used for roosting. Every year, most birds build a new nest, though others renovate their previous ones. Some eagles' enormous eyries, or eyries are platform nests that have been used and renovated for multiple years. In most nest-building species, the female does the majority or all of the nest construction. In others, both mates assist, and in some cases, the male constructs the nest and the hen lines it. However, in other polygynous species, the male does the majority or all of the nest building. In the case of weaver birds, the nest may also be used as part of the courtship show. Females in these species may select for the capacity to choose and maintain appropriate nest sites as well as produce high-quality nests. In some species, young from earlier broods may also assist the parents. Not all bird species build or use nests. Some auks, such as the common murre, thick-billed murre, and razorbill, lay their eggs directly on the narrow rocky ledges where they breed. When disturbed, the eggs of these species are strikingly pointed at one end, causing them to roll in a circle. Because there are no nests to safeguard the developing eggs from rolling off the side of the cliff, this is important for their survival. Parent birds of these auk species, presumably due to the risk of their unprotected eggs, rarely leave them unattended. Local terrain and other abiotic factors have a considerable influence on nest location and architecture. King and emperor penguins do not create nests. Instead, they conceal their eggs and young between their feet and folds of skin on their lower bellies. They are thus able to wander around while incubating, albeit only the emperor penguin does so on a regular basis. Emperor penguins reproduce during the coldest months of the Antarctic winter, and their mobility allows them to create massive huddled groups that help them survive the season's exceptionally strong winds and low temperatures, without the ability to transfer body heat. Temperatures in the center of tight groupings can be up to 10 degrees Celsius above ambient air temperature. Penguins would use significantly more energy just to stay warm without the ability to transfer body heat. Temperatures in the center of tight groups can be up to 10 degrees Celsius above ambient air temperature. Penguins would invest significantly more energy attempting to stay warm, and mating attempts would almost certainly fail. Some crevice nesting species, such as the ashy storm petrel, the pigeon guillemot, the Eurasian eagle owl, and the Hume's tawny owl, lay their eggs in the relative safety of a crevice in the rocks or a gap between boulders, but supply no additional nest material. Patus lay their single egg directly on top of a broken stump or in a shallow depression on a limb, typically where an upward-pointing branch perished and fell off, creating a little scar or knothole. Brood parasites, such as New World cowbirds, pony guides, and many Old World and Australasian cuckoos, the scrape, which is simply a shallow hole in earth or vegetation, is the most basic type of nest construction. This type of nest, which usually has a deep enough rim to keep the eggs from rolling away, is sometimes lined with bits of vegetation, small stones, shell fragments, or feathers. These materials may aid in camouflaging the eggs or providing some insulation. They may also aid in keeping the eggs in place and preventing them from scrape nest eggs and young, as well as the adults who brood them, are more vulnerable to predators and the elements than those in more protective nests. They are on the ground and often in the open, with little to hide them. Most ground nesting birds' eggs are cryptically colored to assist disguise them while the parent is not covering them. The actual color generally corresponds to the substrate on which they are deposited. Brooding adults are also well disguised and may be difficult to remove from the nest. Most ground nesting species have well-developed distraction displays that they utilize to entice, or drive, prospective predators away from the nest. Most species with this sort of nest have precocial offspring, which leave the nest as soon as they hatch. Many birds may nest near human settlements, in addition to nest boxes, which are frequently used to encourage cavity nesting birds. See below. Other species have been specifically encouraged. For example, nesting white storks have been protected and revered in many cultures, and the nesting of peregrine falcons on tall modern or historical buildings has piqued the public's interest. In and around their nesting places, colonial breeders produce guano, which is a valuable fertilizer from the Andean Pacific coast and other areas.